Over tooth decay. Procter & Gamble announces Crest toothpaste with Fluorostan, its exclusive fluoride compound, world's greatest weapon against decay.
Mom, no cavity. Former employees of Occidental Chemical Corporation have filed a lawsuit against the company. They say they have life-threatening diseases like leukemia, emphysema, and toxic brain syndrome. For years, doctors struggled to diagnose them, but finally they found a common link. It was
fluoride.
It's a byproduct that they can't do anything with. It's a poison, so they sell it.
You allow industry to use your water supply to dispose of their hazardous waste. It was a scam from the get-go. It is a means of getting rid of fluoride. It's a disposal mechanism.
It's bizarre. Fluoridation is the worst recycling practice in the world.
So, you're Alcoa in the 1930s, a giant corporation that makes products out of aluminum. And honestly, you've created some pretty amazing things. Tea kettles, foil, airplane parts. But one thing that sucks about manufacturing aluminum is that it's a super messy process. Because, guess what? Raw aluminum doesn't come all perfect and soft and ready to be molded into a frying pan. It needs to be chemically processed and broken down. And this chemical process produces a lot of highly toxic chemicals, like ammonia, methane, and fluoride. And we're not talking about the natural fluoride that occurs in caves and stuff. We're talking about an artificial, man-made fluoride compound that is way more toxic. Like, really, really toxic.
Hydrofluorosilicic acid does not occur in nature. It's a man-made molecule. And it eats through concrete, glass, stainless steel, fiberglass, plastic. You name it, it'll eat it.
The problem is, it would be super expensive to dispose of this toxic fluoride in a safe and responsible way. So, what's the 1930s factory owner to do? Why not pipe it into the air or dump it in the river? I mean, come on, it's the 1930s. This is the dawn of the industrial age. No one cares that factories are dumping toxic chemicals into the river. No one even knows what the long-term effects of these industrial waste chemicals are. They're too busy making up for prohibition or whatever people did in the 30s. So as the years went by, you continued to flood the rivers with this fluoride waste. And everything was going fine and dandy for decades. Until things started to go south. See, you've been dumping fluoride into the air and water for over 30 years now. And people were starting to notice. Alcoa factory workers were showing symptoms of poisoning from the fluoride gases. Cows from nearby farms were getting really weak. They couldn't even stand on their own anymore. And local dentists were starting to notice strange brown stains and chipping on the teeth of children who live nearby. Fluoride is starting to get bad press. And if that bad press continued, everyone would start connecting the dots to you and your fluoride river dumping frenzy. If that happens, you're going to be buried with expensive lawsuits. It would be the end of you. So if you want to survive this and thrive, then you got to do something drastic. You got to find a way to change the public's perception of fluoride from this toxic, poisonous chemical to something that's good for you. And this effort to rebrand fluoride into a healthy chemical would be one of the greatest propaganda efforts known to mankind. It's why today, fluoride has seeped into everything. It's in your toothpaste.
chemical. You're going to put a chemical in my mouth?
Tap water, table salt, bottled water.
Yes, Crest can really reduce cavities because only Crest has Fluorostan, an exclusive stannous fluoride formula that protects your whole family.
Chemical leak this afternoon in Rock Island. The chemical was so strong it was burning through the concrete there.
It was just before 1 o'clock Thursday afternoon when hazmat crews were called to the Rock Island water treatment plant for a chemical spill coming from this tanker truck. The chemical hydrofluorosilicic acid is used to add fluoride to the plant's water. After several hours, crews were able to clean up the leak, allowing operations to return to normal.
The treatment for water and the amount of water being used by the public, there's no effect on that.
So why are we putting that in the water?
The United States, Canada, Australia, Ireland, and New Zealand generously provide you with the fluoride in your tap water free of charge. Why? Because it's good for you, they say. It's good for teeth. It prevents cavities.
To say things like tobacco is harmless, fluoride is harmless.
Agent Orange is harmless, they say. DDT was harmless. That's this, right? Yeah. GMOs now, they say, are harmless. Long history of science selling out to corporate interests while the people are systematically poisoned. And to this day, people still believe fluoride is safe in the drinking water, and the majority of dentists still believe it's safe to put in toothpaste and to put in different types of compounds.
When in reality, too much fluoride has been connected to brain damage, skeletal fluorosis, bone cancer, and lower IQ in children.
What we did was we exposed them, let them drink the fluoride in the water for 6 to 20 weeks. The pattern that we saw typically is what we see with other neurotoxic agents that are well known to cause a hypoactivity or a memory problem or an IQ problem. When I first presented the results of these studies, one of the individuals sitting and listening to the results, he says, "Do you have any idea what you're saying?" He says, "You're telling us that we're reducing the IQ of children."
And yet, the government won't let you escape it even if you wanted to. It's acidic. It'll kill you. And it all started because Alcoa didn't want to get sued. Welcome to Evil Food Supply, where we expose all the evils of our modern diet. Subscribe for more. And this is the evil history of fluoride.
If it's such a simple issue, how is it that it's still going on after half a century?
Fluoride is safe and effective, and it's one of the most inexpensive ways to really cut down on dental decay.
Fluoridation of community water is extremely safe and extremely effective in preventing tooth decay. Science is on the side of fluoride being safe and effective. There is no controversy about this in the scientific community.
The U.S. beer can tops have ring tags made of aluminum from Alcoa. Now beer flavors.
All of the music and sound effects you hear in this video came from Epidemic Sound. Epidemic Sound is this incredible, royalty-free music and sound effects platform where you can download unlimited music and sound effects for your videos. They've got over 35,000 tracks and 90,000 sound effects for you to choose from. And they're the only place we get music from. And finding the perfect song for your content is super easy. You can filter by specific genres like cartoon music or crime scene music, or even pop music from the 2000s. You can get that specific. And it's the same thing with sound effects too. Music and sound effects are the easiest way to make your videos feel way more high quality. And Epidemic Sound has the best selection. Pause the video and try it out now with the link in the video description. That's Epidemic Sound with the link below.
America prepares. All America alters its pattern of life and work to meet the demand for perfection. Industry is at double step to supply the sinews of safety, the armaments of war that the embattled world must have if democracy is to survive.
Early 1940s, the U.S. launched a little something called the Manhattan Project. But to make an atomic bomb, the U.S. would need uranium and fluoride. But not just a little bit of fluoride. We're talking tons of fluoride. Hundreds of tons, actually. Luckily, the U.S. knew just the affordable place to get all this fluoride from. American manufacturing factories like yours. As the head of Alcoa, you're all in, obviously. So you sign on the dotted line, turn your engines to max, and start producing as much fluoride as you possibly can. And other factories across America do the same. And at first, this seemed like a really good idea. I mean, hello, this is the stuff you would normally dump in the river, and now you're getting money for it? Plus, Uncle Sam needs us. America needs us. We are being patriots. But shortly into your war effort, things start to go downhill. The toxic gases from all this fluoride production was making your factory workers sick. sometimes even killing them. Chemical burns were showing up all over their bodies, including their eyes, throats, and esophagus. Fair-skinned men were leaving the factory with burnt red faces, which is why you made sure to only employ African Americans inside. Constant gas leaks and explosions would literally burn workers to death. One woman named Gloria Porter said that she saw a man get, quote, eaten alive, end quote, when a tank of hydrogen fluoride gas exploded in a factory in Cleveland. Another man reported that the fluoride dust would land on cars outside and dissolve the paint on contact. And even though they were working with highly toxic chemicals, all you gave these factory workers for safety equipment was a rag to put over their mouths. You gotta love the industrial age. Between June 1945 and October 1946, 477 factory workers were either injured or died from chemical-related accidents in these fluoride factories. And word was getting out. These factory workers lost their lives because of the poor working conditions you set up. Their families could sue you. In fact, they're probably talking to lawyers as we speak. And if they do sue you, your whole business and your life's work could go down the toilet. But luckily, there's one convenient benefit to fluoride that you can use to turn all this fluoride panic around.
As a decay fighter, dentist use. A decay fighter dentist put on teeth to prevent cavities.
There's no such thing. Preventive medicine for teeth? For fewer cavities?
Can't be done. It has. Now Gleam's done it. New Gleam put preventive medicine in a toothpaste for fewer cavities.
What's preventive medicine?
It's stannous fluoride plus stannous pyrophosphate.
Gleam tastes great.
No toothpaste fights cavities better. Preventive medicine for fewer cavities than New Gleam.
I said it could be done.
Back in 1901, a scientist named Frederick McKay started noticing a strange brown staining on his patient's teeth. This brown staining came out of nowhere and was only happening in his town. No other towns in the area had it, and this was pretty weird. So Frederick did some investigating and discovered that the tap water in his Colorado town had absurdly high levels of fluoride in it. I wonder how that happened. His patients were walking in with these ugly brown stains, but they also had no cavities and rock-hard teeth. And this wasn't a typical thing at the time. In the early 1900s, tooth decay was a really big problem. Teenagers were getting fitted for dentures. Soldiers were failing their health exams. There was even a lucrative black market for false teeth. But this fluoride thing was great for making your teeth stronger. It prevented cavities. Now that is something that we can work with. Now all you have to do is propagate this message to the masses.
You know, honey, I think it just could be the crest.
Of the 5 leading toothpastes, only one has fluoride. Only Crest, the cavity fighter.
The great thing about this fluoride disaster is that you're not fighting this alone. The government also had their head on the chopping block for encouraging factories to pump out even more fluoride. So you and the government were on the same side. And with the government in your corner, anything was possible. So here's what you did. First, you hunted down that dentist, Frederick McKay, the guy who discovered that fluoride hardens teeth. And then you use his research to back your case. And you even give him better technology so he can finish his study faster. Might as well support the guy, right? And then you present his study to cities all over America, saying that if these cities added fluoride to their tap water, it would prevent cavities. And guess what? They drank it up. Wanting to put a random chemical into everyone's water supply may sound crazy today from our point of view. But remember, this was around the end of World War II. Americans had just defeated Hitler. They defeated Japan. They saved the world. And after winning such a vicious war, back home, they naturally became overprotective. They wanted to protect the masses from everything, to prevent bad stuff from happening ever again. So adding fluoride into the water supply to protect people's teeth? Why not? We can't trust them to take care of themselves. So it was no surprise that in 1945, Grand Rapids, Michigan, signed up to be the first trial city, the first city in the world to have fluoridated water. And after just 6 years, you found out that the fluoride actually worked. Tooth decay did in fact go down. Pretty soon, other cities start getting excited about fluoridation. Because who doesn't want clean, white, shiny teeth? Fluoride was successfully a positive thing right in front of your eyes. However, the true genius of this master plan was that the more cities you get to dump fluoride in their water, the less of a chance you'll get sued. After all, fluoride is good for you. We've actually been doing America a favor. And when scientists come forward and question you on the safety of fluoride, like Kai Roholm and later on Frederick McKay himself, you simply pump out more studies that refute them. You open a lab at the University of Rochester that's dedicated to the study of fluoride, and you fill it with the researchers from the Manhattan Project, just to keep it in the family. You even start your own academic journal on tooth decay called Dental Caries, and make fluoride the star. The naysayers were no match for your expert propaganda. And by 1955, Crest releases a new product that would be the last nail in the coffin for fluoride's new positive public image.
Crest toothpaste with Floristan.
So no wonder where we are, there's a dental place, and where we are today, you see the prices. Is to get an exam. Here you need to pay is to get exam and they just view without any work. So a TAFE, you have to pay 25 quid. It's around $30, 30 euros. That's right, mate.
Exclusive fluoride compound that's far superior to fluoride alone.
The world's first fluoride toothpaste.
They actually started working with the fluoride and did the original toxicology studies. And they described what happened to some of these people when they were accidentally overexposed to fluoride.
Patrick, have you never wondered why I drink only distilled water or rainwater?
By the 1970s, fluoride had become a beloved household name. And sure, there were a few fringe conspiracy theorists who would say that fluoridation is part of the communist plot to turn us into brain-dead atheist slaves, but luckily, you have almost every dentist in America to back up your fluoride claims. I mean, it does prevent dental decay, doesn't it? And do we really want to go back to wearing dentures made from donkey teeth?
Ew, no.
Of course not. So pretty much everyone in America was on Team Fluoride. But you're still not totally in the clear, because there's one little scientist, one little rat, who's doing everything she can to dismantle your fluoride lies. And her name was Phyllis Mullenix.
Dr. Phyllis Mullenix started her career at the University of Kansas with a PhD in pharmacology with a specialty in neurotoxicology.
It was 1982. And Phyllis had just started her new job at the Forsyth Dental Center in Boston. Her mission? Testing the toxicity levels of different chemicals, including fluoride. And so, she went through the usual motions. She fed fluoride-laced water to rats and observed their behavior. And what she saw was kind of terrifying. The pregnant rats who were fed fluoridated water were giving birth to hyperactive babies. They were also mentally slower than the rats, whose mothers weren't fed the water. Phyllis also noted that male rats were more easily affected by fluoride in the womb, whereas females were more affected when they drank the water later as young adults. And what's interesting about this study is that it aligns with another study that was published in Canada in 2019. Where the male babies of human mothers that drank fluoridated water showed signs of lowered IQ and hyperactivity, while the females did not.
There was no question that behavior was vulnerable to fluoride. Whether you got a very short exposure And this in animals, but if they're young, if it's prenatal, or if it's early postnatal, all you needed was 2 or 3 days exposure to this, and it caused a permanent change in behavior when the animals grew up.
Phyllis got pretty excited about this. So excited that she typed out a whole paper and submitted it to the Journal of Neurotoxicology and Teratology. What she didn't know was that she was being watched by none other than Harold Hodge, the head researcher of the Manhattan Project. Yeah, he was still alive at the time, and Hodge was really not happy about this nonsense on the toxicity of fluoride. Sure, he was super old now, but he still didn't want anything to ruin the sparkling clean image of fluoride that he worked tirelessly to build. Plus, if people find out that fluoride really was toxic, then he would definitely get sued or go to jail. And so would all the other companies who poisoned those workers during the days of the Manhattan Project. To top all this off, the dental center also didn't want this paper published because they're being funded by pro-fluoride organizations. And that would be a huge conflict of interest. So, yeah, this meddling lady needs to go. So what do? You corner the rat and threaten to fire her if she publishes the paper. And what did Phyllis do in response? She published it anyway. After Phyllis turned in her lab coat, she found out the truth on who this Hodge guy really was and why he was always hovering over her experiments at the dental center.
It can reduce decay, and 5,000 kids like me will prove it. New toothpaste fights cavities better than New Clean.
And Clean tastes good.
What do you know about fluoride in the water? It's in the water to prevent tooth decay. It's a good thing, Rhett.
That's what they want you to believe. Dude, the fact that you can't drink water out of a river anywhere.
Stop right there. You know what? Fluoride protects your teeth and is perfectly healthy for you. Well, if Jam says that, then he is a lying idiot. And if you believe it, then so are you.
Fast forward to today, and fluoride is still a really big household name. And anyone who questions it is instantly labeled as a conspiracy theorist of Alex Jones standards. Anyone who brings up fluoride to Congress gets questioned.
You cited several studies, which were very interesting. Are these basically independent studies with no peer review, or has there been sufficient peer review to give these studies more credibility or not?
But the reality is, fluoride is a double-edged sword. On one side, it is a miracle for your teeth. But on the other hand, too much of it can cause a whole bunch of disorders and diseases.
Like
the scientific community has been fighting over this for decades. Phyllis's study was criticized for using too much fluoride in her water at 5 parts per million, whereas the U.S. government's recommendation at the time was 1 part per million. But think about this. Just because you mix fluoride into the water supply at 1 parts per million doesn't mean that's what people are actually consuming. What about all food products that are made with fluoridated water? Raisins contain fluoride at 2.34 parts per million, wine at 2.02 parts per million, and black tea at 3.73.
Is that when I drank a Coke, when I drank Snapple tea, when I drank grape juice, that I was really adding to my body burden of fluoride with all these others.
The American people, and especially our children, are getting way too much fluoride. 2/3 of children living in fluoridated communities have dental fluorosis in at least 1 tooth. Dental fluorosis is the visible manifestation of toxic overexposure to fluoride during their developmental years.
Let's not forget the undisclosed dumping of fluoride by factories into the water and air. So that 1 part per million turns to 2 parts, 3 parts, 4 parts pretty fast, with fluoridated water at 4 ppm being found to cause bone fractures and skeletal fluorosis in children. It all depends on how much fluoride you actually consume, not how much the government dumps in the water supply, which is next to impossible for the average person to calculate. And I'm sure you're wondering, why aren't we all passing out from fluoride poisoning every time we brush our teeth or drink a glass of water? Well, it's because we're consuming fluoride in super small doses, like a poison drip. And every time we drink it, our system filters some of it out, but not all of it. One study showed that only 50% of fluoride gets filtered out of the body. So where does the rest go? It gets absorbed into your bones. And according to Phyllis, it also absorbs into your brain, one drop at a time.
Cavity, so I'm gonna bite. It's got fluoride in it.
And fluoride is far from the only questionable thing in our modern diet. Next up on Evil Food Supply, we're going to expose today's artificial meat industry and how they've hijacked your compassion for animals to sell you fake meat made out of cheap, profitable, synthetic chemicals. Click the card on the screen to watch now, or subscribe if it's not out yet.
Ilches, what a big ilches. Please follow them. Let's do the next one.
Body count of Clintons is well over 100 that they killed. The Clintons? Yes, the Clintons have killed over 100 people. So, they know it's true. But everybody knows Clinton body count's about 130.
Yeah. A ridiculous amount of people very close to the Clintons have died. And but you're just not allowed to. You didn't say the Clintons have murdered these people. You went, hey, what's up with this? And just the moral, condescending to you as if this was some outrageous offense. We're not allowed to even think of the possibility that maybe politicians have people murdered. Now we're being naive, Kay. You know, that famous line from The Godfather. Look, these people, the Clintons, these are people who we all know have had people murdered in mass numbers. We just call that foreign policy. We just call that when they decide we're going to go on a bombing campaign in Iraq, as Bill Clinton did throughout both of his terms, had a massive blockade around Iraq where the UN estimated 500,000 children starved to death. Okay? This was the UN estimates. I'm not sure if
the weapons they use in Fallujah.
The idea that people do that for a living.
Okay, this pause here to have a reaction video. So, the thing is, we have operations with the MI6. We have operation with CIA and the Mossad, right? The thing is, the operation they did with Desert Storm when they went into Iraq with different reasons, always the same excuse for doing the crimes, and they have even made this plan back in the days with Albert Pike, and what they did with basically the United Nations, and why they set it up. But even if you look in the papers, they have this responsibility to protect the R2P. It's an international law. There's so many question areas why this law has not been with what happened with the starvation in Iraq, the starvation in Yemen, the starvation in former Yugoslavia, and etc. There's many questions about this. But they always refer to that law never were put into action because you need to have all nations. If one nation doesn't even say no or doesn't answer, then they cannot do it. That's their excuse. What a deal is that? I mean, if you're in a democracy and you made a United Nations by democracy, then the majority should be that they didn't have to do it. But they have this excuse, and it isn't. The United Nations is something different. You can look up Dag Hammarskjöld, the Swedish twat paganist, who used stonemasons to come over there and build something on the 18th floor. And you see that room of the meditation is 3 times after number 5. And it has some extra weight on it. But you can even see in the crisis room or the law going to be introduced and confirmed by nations. You can look at the big painting inside there. What is it meaning? I have a video on that. Look at it down below. All of them is made to look good and act good, like they said about going to Iraq. But what happened in Fallujah was they used uranium ammunition on the people. Even today,
want to do
the
a deep dive
people
into it, I'm not gonna go full
giving birth is
There's a
coming
lot
out
of very
mutated,
suspicious deaths around the Clintons, and it's
dismembered in parts, because they cannot be fully grown inside in a womb. This uranium ammunition was illegal, and today in Ukraine, the Norwegian drones with the Danish drones and the England has chemical ammunition on Norwegian drones firing on Russian, and of course not just soldiers, anybody. And you're gonna see Peter Thiel, what he's doing down right now in Syria, Gaza, all these countries down there. Peter Thiel, from Elon Musk, made a PayPal. They're using their drones on people. It's not a conspiracy. If it is so, it's a conspiracy fact. This is what really happens down there. How they always claim they're doing the good, but you can see they're doing the bad. Come on, mate. These people are treason. They're blasphemous treasons.
That was just a robbery.
The proof is there, but there's no freaking court or attorney who want to go in and do that, because as you saw before, with the TAFE, that they threaten the people. If you play in the report, the evidence of what they have done in misconduct and what they have done treason, they will threaten your job, they will threaten everything around you. They will even say to them that, oh, we can lock you in forever and you don't even have a chance to get released, because many countries doesn't have life sentence. But like in the pagan Sweden, there they have. They don't have a life sentence. There they have time stamp, and they need to have, after 15 years, the long one, sentence of life, then you have to get it extended. And when you get it extended, it is a certain time after time. But they have, for those who do with secrecy, reveal secrecy, they have a certain prison where they place you, and they will say to you, you can be locked away and never be released again. Because this is how they operate. You can even say, if you do military, do something on the secrecy, you have 75 years secrecy on your papers. If you have done and known some excluded things that is so exclusive, they can even put 150 years secret stamp. Nobody can open it. If it's not really, really back in the days of the law, open this to reveal the crimes, reveal the treason. That's what you can do. You can definitely, but if you tell anybody, you can't. But if we look back to 1215, the Magna Carta, where there's this quote, by the people, for the people. The ancestor was fighting for Magna Carta, made this elite and the kings and whatever they were claiming the word to be. They had to be obedient to the law, be obedient law citizen. All of them, the elites, the 1%, the 2%, whatever claim they are, all are equal under the law. But today, there is some of this gray area they have made by the law. That's why you can even see the traces. If you go to the showers where there were certain people who were standing in a shower, there's no chemicals. There's no chemicals in those showers. These videos, these movies, this documentary that certain people have been to. What? If you go to Fallujah in Iraq and look in Fallujah, you can see the traces of uranium ammunition. There's the proof. If you go today, Odessa, all around outside Odessa, you can see there's even rounds of the Kremlin. Because these Khazarian, they know that they are getting spotted with the Canaanites, the Khazarians. And look, these crypto Judays, these Khazarian, what they really are.
Mysterious death of Sean Lucas and his involvement with the party's email scandal.
You came, saw, died.
In Gaddafi,
Self-protecting. She can walk in.
the Gaddafi, you can go ask in a Libyan, if you if you and your mate, the lover, was supposed to get a child, you will get money for giving birth. They will give you money to you can prepare for giving birth. If you want to study, they give you, like Russia, they give you money to study. Then, of course, when you get a job, you will work and pay back the money, of course. But the thing is, they made sure that anybody was educated for free. You had your license for free. And of course, you pay back when you have an education. When you have a job, you pay back in that way. And Gaddafi, okay, he may be, in a way, how he transferred all that money and how he made his own goal. There it was. Because he want to go back to the gold standard, not know this Zionist, Khazarian bank hotel. They don't want that because it's printed money. They can print whatever and tell the people every month, and the people be in this system that they are debt slaves, right? But Gaddafi want to go back to the gold standard, and he want to print his own version. So when they found out that he wanted that, and that even every nation in Africa, every nation was assembled like Putin did. And when he assembled all nations, he even convinced the evil Morocco regime. Because they were the only one who is in the force. With any nation in Africa, they're always in force because they are the one who is really collab with Europe and Western world. So they have the saying to the Morocco regime, and they are playing full play. But they knew the only way to get rid of the West world and Europe, it is by going alliance with Gaddafi. But before all that signing on the papers, they took away Gaddafi, like she said. Hillary Clinton, she even had a lady in Sweden called in a way of the 30,000 email conspiracy. And Anna Lind, even her mate, her girlfriend mate, had saying that even Anna Lind had a fire spirit in her. The fire spirit, the spirit of fire, is the anti, Messiah. And Anna Lind was down with Carl Bildt, and Carl Bildt was the prime minister, and even him, and they made the war of Yugoslavia. But then Anna Lind had to pay the price in the Northern Company store, where the hero, the folk hero, Milosevic, got her. A sentence, of course. And the thing is, they made that war, but they even got the price of pace because they came down as a pacemakers. The order of chaos. Because it is what Carl Bildt was saying in 1992, 25th February in the Club of Madrid. He was saying, to bring in the new world order, we need to get rid of the old order. The old new world order need to be now by the people in a newer form, and to make the new world order of the old or new world order. To do so, we need to now open the borders of Europe and make so much chaos that they, the people, want to claim the new world order by themselves. Because you have the free will, you cannot really force. They can introduce, but that's why they always use movies, they use the force. Because he's in the witchcraft. Craft, the book is named Craft. That's what they always say about stars, actors, athletes or their craftsmanship, the craft. Because there's a book called that, or cultist. And there they have used the force, like Klaus Schwab, BlackRock CEO, Larry Flink, who really runs a nice day, really rule over Donald Trump. But even BlackRock need to go to the post mafia. The post mafia is even higher than BlackRock. But either way, this feud with these Khazarians and Tatarians, right? You need to understand these ones are really making this fuss. And you saw they open the borders, there's chaos in Europe, and the people want to, we need new laws, we need new this, do. It's not. They made this. This is treason. They planned this. It's even back in the 1897 in Basel, what it made with the 25 protocols by the Elders of Zion. That even Adolf, the Hitler, found out. The 25 protocols by the Elders of Zion, you can look it up. It's even gone back to what they made in the 4,500, 5,000 years ago in Egypt. The 42 laws of math. It is connected. But even why the 25 protocols of the Elders of Zion is same with Albert Pike did, who created the Ku Klux Klan, the Civil War in the United States, in the North and the South, like they did in Yugoslavia, or like they did in Armenia. So the thing is, they make this chaos, and there's none of these civilians who gets affected. So all of them is treason. They're doing blasphemous. They are believers in not the Creator. They're going against it. You can say it. All is proven up by that. But there's nobody wants to touch these cases. Nobody want to do anything about these faces. The thing is, they have, as they made a certain, with the media again, there was something, everybody watch out. Then it was not open the borders. What did they do then? They closed the borders. And why? Because see how many participants are the people who wants the new world order, who wants all these laws and all these new ways, but you never hear these say about the Creator. You never hear them say about the Magna Carta. You never hear them say anything about the real ones. And they always have excuses, even when the people need to know, as you have the information law. Information law is going by the civil law against the public law. And the civil law against the public law is that everyone who works in the public, like administration, government, if a person, of a civil person, ask any one of these, I mean, it can be professor, it can be a spokesman, it can be a police officer, it can be any type of mayor, senator, president, prime minister, they must, by the law, tell you what they know. They must. But people have been accepted all these gray areas. They have been accepted this. You can even say in a Swedish documentary, Operation Playa, where you can find out that the police and the international prosecutor doing unlawful things to prevent unlawful things, but they were even in conspiracy to make 400 kilograms of the snowy Coca-Cola into Sweden. Again, poison, addiction, criminal stuff. They make the chaos to create the freaking order. It's treason, mate. It is treason. Even if we would claim, if we would do something like that, even if we make this, say, now we just want to see who in the government who is the unlawful. So we did unlawful things to see who is co-unlawful in the government and whatever. Hey, mate, this is time for people to say what they really are doing, mate. Here, continue.
Right now, and shoot somebody with 20,000 people watching right smack in the middle of the heart. And she wouldn't be prosecuted.
Remember John F. Kennedy Jr.? He was declared the frontrunner for the New York Senate seat back in 1999. Days later, his plane crashed into the Atlantic Ocean, and his rival, Hillary Clinton, was elected senator. Mary Mahoney was a Clinton White House intern. She knew enough of the inner workings of Bill's sexual advancements to be a star witness during the Clinton impeachment trials. She was brutally executed at a Starbucks she was managing in 1997. In 1993, White House counsel Vince Foster was found dead in Fort Marcy Park near D.C. He supposedly killed himself, and among a lengthy list of potential foul play, the bullet was never found. Then there's James McDougal, a key witness for White House prosecutors. He was serving his 3-year sentence for bank fraud at the Fort Worth Federal Medical Center in Texas. And just before he was to give a testimony before the grand jury, McDougal suffered a heart attack in solitary confinement. In 2015, Walter Scheib, a White House chef hired under Bill Clinton, joined the list. His body was found at the bottom of a river, nearly 2 miles from the base of the trail he was reportedly hiking. An autopsy determined that Scheib's death was accidental drowning, but he might have known too much. 27-year-old Democratic National Committee staffer Seth Rich was shot and killed in D.C. this year. There is speculation that he was the source of the controversial leaked emails allegedly sent by DNC staffers, and that he may have been murdered in retaliation. Then Sean Lucas, the lead attorney in a fraud case against the DNC, was found lying on the bathroom floor by his girlfriend when she returned home on August 2nd. His death was reported classified, pending the results of an autopsy.
Of DNC staffer Seth Rich, who was murdered last summer. A federal investigator telling Fox News that an FBI forensic report of Rich's computer showed he made contact with WikiLeaks through a former reporter and London-based WikiLeaks director, Gavin McFadden. The investigator told Fox News Rich provided McFadden with more than 44,000 emails, nearly 18,000 attachments. Rich was murdered near his D.C. home on the morning of July 10th, but his wallet, his cell phone, his watch not taken. WikiLeaks 12 days later published internal emails showing top DNC officials trading ideas on how to hurt Senator Bernie Sanders at the polls, and those emails resulting in the resignation of Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who was the chair of the DNC, and the DNC's 3 top officials because of the obvious conclusion portrayed in those emails.
The stuff that you're sitting on, is an October surprise in there? Do you even know what you're sitting on?
WikiLeaks never sits on material. Whistleblowers go to significant efforts to get us material, and often very significant risks. There's a 27-year-old that works for the DNC who was shot in the back, murdered just 2 weeks ago for unknown reasons as he was walking down the street in Washington. So
that was just a robbery, I believe, wasn't it?
No, there's no finding. So
what are you suggesting?
I'm suggesting that our sources take risks, and they become concerned to see things occurring like that.
But was he one of your sources then? I mean,
we don't comment on who our sources are.
But why make the suggestion about a young guy being shot in the streets of Washington?
Because we have to understand how high the stakes are in the United States, and that our sources are, our sources face serious risks. That's why they come to us, so we can protect their anonymity.
It's quite something to suggest a murder. That's basically what you're doing.
Well, others have suggested that we are investigating to understand what happened in that situation with Seth Rich. I think it is a concerning situation. There's not a conclusion yet. We wouldn't be willing to state a conclusion, but we are concerned about it. And more importantly, a variety of WikiLeaks sources are concerned when that kind of thing happens.
This is a guy who is a real Bernie Sanders supporter, open Bernie Sanders supporter who worked for the DNC. The DNC absolutely rigged the primary against Bernie Sanders. He was aware of this. He was there while this was all going down. So was Donna Brazile. Everyone was aware of it. The guy got fucking murdered after he leaked information to WikiLeaks. If you don't think that's a little weird, what are you looking at? What delusional rose-colored glasses are you looking at your party from? Do you think you're in some Julia Roberts movie from 1990? This is real shit. Some guy got killed. He was 24 years old. He was a young guy who was very optimistic and had this view of the world where the guy fucking wore American flag pants and shirt. There's a famous picture of him with a beer on. He's a patriot in a lot of ways. He wanted to be involved in the political process. He was very idealistic. He was probably shattered by finding out that the party that he was working for was corrupting the democratic process. And because I've said this before, I've been accused of helping Donald Trump win by really wacky people online, like by pointing out all the flaws of Hillary Clinton. Like, look, man, you can't ignore that shit because you want one side to win. I've talked about all of his flaws too. There's a lot of flawed human beings that run for president, pretty much all of them. I mean, it's very rare you have someone who's not flawed. Right. Extremely flawed. We're all flawed, but extremely flawed who wants to be the fucking king of the world. It's very rare. Listen, man, I'm not a fucking reputable person. That's when it comes to like my political ideologies. I mean, I'm just not. I'm not that well read when it comes to politics. I have my opinions on things, but when it comes to things that are rock solid and clear, like that Seth Rich was murdered and people want to ignore it, I'm like, what the fuck do you think happened? There has to be some sort of a disconnect here. When a person is giving information to WikiLeaks that exposes corruption inside the very organization that's responsible for the fucking Democratic Party, and he gets murdered, and you're like, oh, the conspiracy theories. No, he got murdered. There's no conspiracy. It was a botched robbery. Says who? Says who? Where is this? How come his wallet was there? How come his watch was there? How come they didn't take his phone? What the fuck are you talking about that I'm a conspiracy theorist when I just tell you the facts? So this WikiLeaks thing with Julian Assange is the craziest shit ever. When he said there's consequences to sharing information with us. He works for Russia now. He works for Russia. So isn't that the darling of the left when Obama was in office?
So isn't that amazing? So Julian Assange, he's just a great news guy who's tough as nails.
He can't leave. He's stuck in the Ecuador embassy.
By the way, that case was so fucked. So fucked. He's been so fucked. It's because the CIA wants him so bad, and they control everybody. And now they're trying. They have influence over Ecuador. They're trying to fuck. They're trying to get a Halliburton guy to be their new. Anyway,
they might just blow up that place.
No doubt, right? I wouldn't be surprised if shit like that happened.
More stuff comes out, like the Seth Rich stuff. The amount of people, and this is where I think in conspiracy. The amount of people connected to the Hillary Clinton organization, to the Clinton Foundation, to Bill Clinton, the amount of people that have been heist is stunning. But then some of them are bullshit, coincidental, and people, and they're in a weird job, and people get. There's a lot of people that have been killed.
But the timing is so interesting here. The week that this breaks on Fox News in a story they later had to retract and acknowledge didn't meet their editorial standards, Sean Hannity is shouting it from the rooftops. What's going on that week? It's the week that Mueller is appointed. It's the week Comey is fired. It's when the Russia story is blowing up. What better way to deflect from the Russia story than to point the finger at this, this guy in Washington who was shot in an armed robbery? It wasn't the Russians. It was Seth Rich. That's what, that was the whole subtext of what Sean Hannity was pushing that week. And who does he have on? Jay Sekulow. Didn't say it at the time. Sekulow had just been named as Trump's lawyer in the Russia investigation. And he's saying, what is he saying on Fox News? This undercuts the whole Russia narrative. That was the message they were pushing.
So the predicate for all of this, I think, maybe even earlier, but to my knowledge, late in the summer of 2016, with the hacking of the DNC and the emails from the DNC. And the FBI never investigated it, never investigated the actual, the physical removal of this data from their servers. Instead, a company called CrowdStrike, which worked for the Democratic Party, did. And then exactly at that moment, or right around that moment, a DNC staffer was killed in Washington, D.C. in an apparent robbery. in which nothing was taken from him, that I happen to know for a fact, the MPD, the Metropolitan Police Department, was like bizarre. They kind of didn't believe it. A Fox News host went on air and asked questions about this killing. Why wouldn't you? And the parents of the man who was killed either sued, or I think they sued. They certainly threatened to sue, and basically scared the crap out of everyone. So no one's ever asked a question about it since.
They hired a private investigator who looked around. In that case, I remember, and there were some odd details there. The FBI ended up in possession of his laptop, and then ended up.
The FBI wind up in? I mean, this is a war crime, right?
Yeah, this was one of the first reasons I started to look at that case, because I got a call from somebody about that, and I don't know why that was the case, but it is the case.
And there were people at the DNC, one of whom I know, who thought that he was murdered for political reasons. At the DNC, a very high-ranking person at the DNC told me that. And I probably should just say, but everyone can guess who it is who's informed on this, but I don't want to betray confidence, but I'm not making this up. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what happened, but like, as far as I know, not one person has looked into that in the media.
No, and, even if it is just an unsolved murder of a type that they normally solve, the whole situation, that whole timeline was very strange. It doesn't really make sense. The hacking of the DNC, the bringing in of CrowdStrike, when the information was released online, they never really proved that case, but they immediately made inferences about it. And there was an incredibly sophisticated kind of public campaign to create this narrative that, upon closer examination, turns out not to be true. So we got to go back and find out what did exactly happen there.
The Clinton body count, which is the strange number of suicides that seem to happen in Clinton circles. I have a headline here from the Washington Post that said, Trump peddles false conspiracy theories tying the Clintons to several deaths. So I just wanted to highlight real quick, this wasn't in Trump's video, but this is from the Arkansas Times. And it's the death of Mark Middleton, who was a former Clinton White House aide, who was found dead on a Clinton Foundation property. And I'll just quote from the Arkansas Times. Middleton apparently shot himself in the chest with a shotgun and also hung himself from a tree with an extension cord. So I have no idea how somebody commits suicide that way, but if the Washington Post is here, maybe you can enlighten us as to how that was actually a suicide. So anyways, that's just a lead into my question about the most famous Clinton-related suicide, which is that of Jeffrey Epstein.
So today we're going to look at yet again another mysterious ending to a former Clinton associate, Mark Middleton, a 59-year-old longtime special advisor for the Clinton administration when he was president, who it appears in the 1990s served as a conduit between Clinton and the late billionaire Jeff Epstein. Arranged at least 7 of the 17 visits that Epstein paid to the White House and flew on the Lolita Express several times himself, according to Daily Mail. Mark Middleton was a family man.
If you like this,
he had a
comment below
family-owned
if you want to see
Middleton
about the
Heaton
Obama.
air high-vac business. Oh, businessmen probably had plenty of money, was doing fine, in fact, had really nothing to gain by working for the Clintons, apparently. But here's where it gets weird. Sometime on May 7th, Mark Middleton decided to drive 30 miles away from his home to the Heifer Ranch in Perryville, and both hung and shot himself with a shotgun at the same time. He reportedly used an extension cord as a noose and created a makeshift gallows underneath the tree, which appeared to be there as a failsafe in case a shotgun blast didn't end him. So apparently he went to this ranch, a place he had allegedly never been before and had no reason to be at, found a tree, pulled a table over there, got on that table, took an extension cord, put it around a limb, put it around his neck, and shot himself in the chest with a shotgun somehow, and then dropped with the extension cord around his neck just to make sure that he would end it all. That's pretty elaborate. I don't know if you've ever seen what a shotgun could do to a pumpkin, but I wouldn't really worry about surviving a close-range shot from one of those. Ranch workers found Middleton's car in the parking lot and notified the sheriff, and his body was found shortly afterwards. He was not invited to the property, and the staff contacted the sheriff because he was there without authorization. And again, there has been no links established to why he would have ever traveled to that ranch in the first place. A terrified business associate of Middleton has reportedly said, "Everyone that I know here that has worked with Mark knows it's physically impossible for him to have ended himself. He could not physically hold a shotgun and done that to himself. He knows nothing about guns. He hated guns. He couldn't have tied a noose to save his life. The man couldn't even change a light bulb by himself. He was the least physically skilled person I have ever met in my life. He was very smart, great with paperwork, legalities, and all of that, but he couldn't physically take care of himself." And now his family, his father, and his wife are fighting to keep photos and other illustrative content sealed. They have filed an injunction arguing that blocking the release of the footage would halt a proliferation of unsubstantiated conspiracy theories. I think that's going to make it seem less conspiratorial.
The Clinton body count has become the butt of many jokes online because of how massive and extensive this list has become over the years. Is a ever-growing list that have documented the Clinton body count as a phenomenon. And it is a phenomenon of people that have died in mysterious circumstances surrounding the Clintons. And we will go ahead and document as many of them as we can, and as many of them as exist now, as this list is ever growing.
This is the one that's kind of weird. And first thing I ask myself is, how the hell is our guy here, Anthony Weiner, still alive? What do you mean by that? Well, when you go through the list of people that have been close to Hillary Clinton and the Clintons and the death pool, this is not a conspiracy. You got the names of James McDougal, okay, Clinton's convicted Whitewater partner, died of an apparent heart attack. You know, Mary Mahoney, a former White House intern, was murdered July 1997 at a Starbucks coffee shop in Georgetown.
Ron Brown, he died in a plane crash.
Vince Foster was the next one. By the way, the James Dougal was a key witness in a Ken Starr investigation.
Brown was in a plane crash. Why is he on the list?
Ron Brown is another one, but there was a close person to this. Victor Racer, you got Paul Tooley, Ed Woolley.
Wait a minute, you're reading a list of people that Bill and Hillary Clinton knew. They're 80, they're 70
wait a minute.
years old.
I'm asking you this question and an answer at the end. So you got Jerry Parks, Jane Bunch, James Wilson, Kathy Ferguson, Bill Shelton, Candy Bowell, Florence Martin, Susan Coleman, Paula Grover, Danny Casolero, Paula Wilker, John Parnell Walker, Barbara Weiss. We should verify this yourself because you're running a radio show. You should look it up.
I don't know any of these names.
Dr. Stanley Hurd, Barry Beal, Barry Seal, Johnny Law.
Can you read me the URL you're reading? Can you read me the URL you're reading?
We'll send you the most credible source.
Let your listeners know what you're reading.
We'll put the link below. We'll put the link below.
Tell me so I know what I'm responding.
Friday, Kevin Ivey, Dan Henry, Keith Coney. And these were part of the Ivy Henry case. Keith McCaskill.
What's the Ivy Henry case?
You can look it up. Ivy Henry case. So Gregory Collins, Jeff Rhodes, James Millen, Richard Winter, and then you got the close bodyguards, Major William Markley, Captain Scott Reynolds, Brian Hanley, Tim Sable.
You don't even know what you're reading a list of. How is this?
Robert Kelly, Colonel Gary Rhodes, Steve Wills, Robert Williams, Conway LeBrew, Todd McKeon. I'm done. It's 46 names. And
of what? Can you read me the list? Can you read me the URL so I know what you're going to list of?
When I finish this, still in the storm.com. So here's the question for you. Because millions of people are not convinced Hillary Clinton is
again with the other people.
Including myself. How is it when you think about other candidates, okay, everybody has a stereotype. You have a reputation whether you like it or not. What's your reputation? Your reputation is you like to text underage girls and you like to talk to girls and you sex sending pictures of your dangling. That's your reputation. Whatever you do, you can't do anything about it. Adam has a reputation. Adam is a playboy in Miami.
Better get back to that list of strangers.
Trust me, I'm getting back to it. How is it that in the last 50 years, we don't have a single candidate? Everybody has their own. John F. K. was a playboy with Marilyn Monroe. Trump, Karen McDougal, Stormy Daniels. You know, George Bush linked to 9/11 and weapons of mass destruction. Bill Clinton linked to Arkansas women, all this others. Everybody has a reputation. How is it that the reputation that follows them is people close to them die?
In 1982, cocaine trafficker Barry Seal set up one of the largest drug smuggling operations in the United States in Mena, Arkansas, under the approving eye of Governor Bill Clinton.
Medellin, Cali, and Bogota, Colombia, the nucleus of the most powerful drug cartels in the Western Hemisphere. 2,000 miles away, hidden in the mountains of western Arkansas's Ouachita National Forest, lies a transshipment point for these cartels. U.S. Customs has estimated that at least 75% of all drug smuggling aircraft have passed through the Mena, Arkansas airport for one reason or another. During the early to mid-1980s, Mena served as a sanctuary for Adler, Barham, and Seal, one of the biggest, if not the most famous of all importers of illegal drugs into this country.
Barry Seal was a drug smuggler, and he tried to set it up in his home state of Louisiana, but they wouldn't let him. He had to come to a state that had a sleazy governor hooked on cocaine.
To carry out my first trial run operation. An enormous quantity of cocaine had been flown in on one of these operations. I was to deliver it into the neighboring state of Arkansas. By that time, Bill Clinton's drug operation was in full swing. He was governor of Arkansas, and I delivered this cocaine to a remote airport in Ouachita Forest, which I've since identified as Mena Airport. I also delivered a little packet of information and a small quantity of cocaine, a personal stash from J. Bennett Johnston, to Bill Clinton. I delivered it to Bill Clinton, and he cut up 2 lines of the coke, and he did inhale. That certainly wasn't the only time I saw Bill Clinton using cocaine. My sexual experience with Bill Clinton was extremely limited, in spite of the fact that I was a sex slave. It was my experience that Bill Clinton is bisexual, leaning far more towards a homosexual end. All I've ever seen him involved in was the homosexual activity, with very limited experience with him myself. Whereas my experience was much more prevalent with Hillary Clinton, because Hillary is also bisexual, leaning more towards a homosexual end, and it was she who accessed my sex programming to fulfill her perversions.
There were 100 million a month in cocaine coming in and out of Mena, Arkansas. They had a problem. There was so much money in cocaine, 100 million. You create a problem in a little state like Arkansas. How do you clean $100 million a month? For about 2 months, I watched the accounts accumulate money. At the end of the month, they zero balance. There were 100 drug money.
In addition to the operations at Mena, small clearings in other parts of the state were used as drop points for money and cocaine.
They had special cargo doors installed on the side without FAA permission, so that these doors could be opened in flight. They'd pull in, slide back, and the cocaine could be dropped out the side in flight.
I snuck around, crawled through the bushes, thinking that I'd really have to hide to see them unloading the dope. Didn't have to. You could walk right up to the airport and they'd unload it right in front of me. They didn't care.
Clinton had integrated a number of corrupt cops, judges, and politicians into high-level positions to ensure the continued success of the drug smuggling and money laundering operations.
For 15 years, I did not encounter anything like the corruption which I encountered after the Mena investigation.
All of this drug run, all of the trafficking drugs, sending them all over the nation. Came out of Little Mean, Arkansas, right under the nose of little Governor Billy Clinton. Bill Clinton controlled the legal system. He controlled the judges. He controlled the attorneys. He controlled the banks.
It's just a small state, a one-party state. What tends to happen in small states like that, I think, is the longer the person remains governor, that I think the greater the abuses are.
The Mita story is a tale of drugs, guns, money laundering, and murder, involving an unholy alliance between organized crime, high-ranking U.S. political figures, and the drug kingpins of Colombia. Throughout the years, rumors of a CIA conspiracy and links to a Nicaraguan Contra resupply effort have masked the real players behind this horrific operation. Bill Clinton's election to the presidency of the United States proved to be the catalyst which unwittingly allowed the illegal activities inside his home state to receive national attention. Yet justice in Arkansas has been excruciatingly slow in coming. Many honest law enforcement officials have simply been kept from doing their jobs. In fact, to date, 9 separate state and federal investigations into the drug smuggling, money laundering activities at Mina have been shut down. In the fall of 1995, the United States House Banking Committee, chaired by Representative Jim Leach of Iowa, launched investigation number 10 into Mina. Insiders believe the investigation will not be allowed to reach any significant conclusions. At a press conference on October 7th, 1994, the president was asked if he had any knowledge of Mina's drug smuggling, money laundering operations.
No, they didn't tell me anything about it. They didn't say anything to me about it. The airport in question and all the events in question were the subject of state and federal inquiries. It was primarily a matter for federal jurisdiction. The state really had next to nothing to do with it. The local prosecutor did conduct an investigation based on what was within the jurisdiction of state law. The rest of it was under jurisdiction of the United States attorneys who were appointed successively by previous administrations. We had nothing, zero, to do with it, and everybody who's ever looked into it knows that.
As governor, Clinton had repeatedly stated that Mina was a federal problem, and as a result, his hands were tied. Although untrue, Clinton managed to shift the blame away from himself. However, with his election to the presidency, Clinton no longer had any excuse. The question must be asked, if drug smuggling activities at Mina are continuing today, as the evidence suggests, why has Clinton allowed it?
Or money in the bank. Once you get the money, then you get the power. Right? And you heard what he said in this documentary. It was unholy stuff they even did. But he didn't say so much about those. But you can see the signs and symbols. Really look at the signs and symbols, mate. You can even see, look it up, Albert Pike, further grade, saying who is God for them in the agnostic version. Look at who that is for them. Okay. Obama, when he became into office, he was a 32nd degree. 32nd. Bill Clinton, 33rd degree. The 27th degree and 33rd degree, York Rite and Scottish Rite, and 5th degree highest in the synagogue and church of Satan. Magas, is Donald, you know. These guys are another one. They are really, really into it. You can look at who what they believe in, mate. And they can say. And say, of course, really, mate. Really, they're into me. So let's do some roaming and see what else there is. I'm sleeping. He doesn't want to take up the snacks. Okay, mate. You keep doing that. And we'll go to the office so you get snacks there instead.
Everything good? Take care.
What should we take now then? Let's do some of Tyler Hansen. Or the Facebook montage. We take the Facebook montage.
Let me give you a little inside information about God. God likes to watch. He's a prankster. Think about it. He gives man instincts. He gives you this extraordinary gift, and then what does he do? I swear, for his own amusement, his own private, cosmic gag reel, he sets the rules in opposition. It's the goof of all time. Look, but don't touch. Touch, but don't taste. Taste, don't swallow. And while you're jumping from one foot to the next, what is he doing? He's laughing his sick fucking ass off. He's a tight ass. He's a sadist. He's an absentee landlord. Worship that? Never. God likes to watch.
You know why they call themselves the free?
He gives man
The free Amazon. Do you know why they call themselves that? Even in the Gnostic, what the G is standing for, it's not just gay. It's standing for Gnostiness. The thing is with them, they have in the books on the 1% of their own international club, what they're saying about the true creator, that it has too many laws, too many rules, and these ones, these fallen angels, they want to be free. Why do you think they call them themselves? The Ma-son. The word comes from Mat, the sons of Mat. That's why they have the 42 laws, 42 principles of Mat. They want to be free. They don't want to be, they want to be like God, be everywhere, create anything, everything, and rule everything. Be free. Don't be any by rules and laws or principles. But they give everybody else that. But not them. Why do you think so many actors in these hip hop rap artists? Look it up, these rap artists, when he say how do he beat his cases because he's a free mage Amazon. Okay? Look it up. You know, when all of them get sentenced, where you can say in court and it's not, do you think they go to same prison as others? Look up even the prison now, the Peter Takashi. I don't like him because of many ways, but that's one thing. Takashi is by 3 months. They had to take him out. And now we're going to come back as a clone, of course, because to make a full-grown human clone, you can see Bill Clinton. Clinton, we see before. I have this also with Clinton, the video, we can look at that. When Clinton says about there shall not be any more anybody can clone center, okay? Nobody can clone more. It's in a certain way. And even, as you can see here, the dualistic form, so many things, signs and symbols in this game, it's insane. I can make hours content of that. Comment below if you want to see hours content exposed in GTA. But either way, the thing is, with the cloning center of the country, now you can see he had the enlightenment here, he had the blonde here, but he spoke too much. And he go into prison that is 3 months. Look at the guards. Yeah, it's a military guards. All those floors you see on that building in Brooklyn, it is offices. Offices for those who work there. And underneath, there's many floors underneath. It's like MK Nomi Center. the thing is, a lot of things that happen there. Project Northbrook, Manhattan, all of them has been around there. But look it up. Why is all these high priority profiles at one same prison? And it's not prison guards. They don't have the outfit. They're standing outside with a military gear outfit. And all these famous, all these other ones, all these Masonic gazer, they all go into that prison. And it's underneath. And do you think they are sentenced in a real prison with a no working toilet, showers, TV, food, good, all that? No, 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 no. What there happen is like the underground bases, the dump, deep underground bases, right? They have also underground prison mates. And it's built like the other ones, like a city mate. The thing is, they are gathered in a certain prison mate. And you and others, investigators, come into a prison, you see the military outside. You think you're gonna get an answer, even if you have the law of the right to get there. They will claim, no, it is protection of the individual. We cannot give you confirmation that he is here or she is here. You have to go somewhere else. That's why there's a lawyer. Go by that lawyer. But we cannot confirm or deny that the person is here. So, yes, mate. Yes. They took Takashi out of the game.
He gives you this extraordinary gift, and then what does he do? I swear, for his own amusement, his own private, cosmic gag reel, he sets the rules in opposition. It's the goof of all time. Look, but don't touch. Touch, but don't taste. Taste, don't swallow. And while you're jumping from one foot to the next, what is he doing? He's laughing his sick fucking ass off. He's a tight ass. He's a sadist. He's an absentee landlord. Worship that? Never.
Always.
Better to reign in hell than serve in heaven, is that it?
The faithful servant of righteousness is.
Wanda told us earlier this month that she could not have.
We can never get our wings. We can never get our soul. We can never get our divine because we're on the narrow path. So welcome to the narrow path time with the narrow path gang with the narrow path hang. See, Drewski, how blasphemous this is. You say now. That's why you can say that Messiah even warned about false leaders, false teachers, false prophets, because they would then will come and claim by his name, Yahusha, Yahuwah, Yah, that they will come and abuse his name. Of course, the name has been translated many times, but they use it. You're not supposed to gain any cash, any money. If there's places they want you to have money, then it's a false. And if you are doing content with the Most High, you don't ask the viewers, you don't ask the audience for the money. You ask them to listen with your heart, listen with your mind, and see if you can find what is with the gospel, the truth. It doesn't cost you any money, maybe some vibes of energy and chemistry, but nothing of the man-made materials. And you who make the content should never ask for this. You are here to go over the whole world and spread the gospel. You should go out in the world and give the gospel, not ask for money. And if you're TikTok or Instagram, YouTube content creator and asking having any way, form of taking money, then you're doing wrong because Messiah is telling you, you should have what you need to have per day. And whatever you have over, you have to sell it and help the poor ones. Have you done that? Or you just want more? I remember it says, it's not about Moses' law, it is the law by I am who I am.
Y'all can't be this delusional, bro. He's not mocking God. He's exposing the church. He's exposing the pastors. He's not mocking. He's
And this is
mocking the pastors.
Johnson.
Man, we've been exposing these pastors. We've been doing this for a long time. Content creators been exposing all these churches and all these pastors, bro. This is nothing new. All of a sudden, a streamer or whatever he is decides to do a skit about it. Oh, this is the realest thing I ever saw. He's exposing the pastors. He's telling the truth about the church like it's something new. Now, a lot of people kept saying, he's not wrong though, bro. He's telling the truth. Let me tell you how he's wrong. These so-called pastors that he was exposing is responsible for leading God's sheep. Now, we know already that they mocking God. We already know that they playing with God. We know this. But what you Drewski bandwagon hopping people don't understand is that all of this that these false pastors are doing, all this dancing, all this acting like they're healing people, all this acting like they casting out demons, all this stuff that they doing, getting money and all that stuff in the church, all this stuff revolves around God. What Drewski is doing is capitalizing off of it and turning it into entertainment. No different than what these so-called false pastors been doing. So he's capitalizing off of it and turning it into entertainment, turning it into a trend instead of properly calling out the error and correcting it. He's no different than them. They are all about entertainment. They are all about show and prosperity. This is nothing but an opportunity to trend. And that's exactly what you see what's going on social media. He's trending. Instead of taking it serious, people are laughing and joking about it. They're not thankful. Oh, he exposed the church. Oh, wow. Now I know the truth. They're not thankful and saying stuff like that. They are laughing, joking, laughing emojis, and making a joke about it, which means that they are not taking God serious at all. When y'all go wake up and understand this world is a stage. It's a circus full of clowns. And that's not an insult. What's a clown? A clown is someone who entertains. That's exactly what they're giving you. Entertainment. They're not exposing nothing. They're not giving you no truth. The truth was already out there. The same delusional people that's applauding this, it's going to be the same delusional people that's going to be deceived by the Antichrist. Because they are so easy to deceive. All you have to do is get a celebrity, somebody who they follow and worship, do this stuff, and they gonna fall for it. Y'all need to wake up, because most of these celebrities who y'all love are control opposition. And right now, y'all being controlled.
And what we're saying, for this reason, sends them a powerful delusion that we believe in the lie, so that all will be condemned, who have not believed in the truth, but have been delighted of the wickedness. 2 Thessalonians 11-12. That's right. Jag får upp. Okay, that's ouch.
Thank you for the video. Just don't forget, as Christians, we shouldn't be cursing. Have a blessed day. Who is we? I don't belong to no religion, especially Christianity. I ain't no Christian. Never said I was Christian. I don't belong
belong to no religion. There's no religion in the Bible. You probably call yourself a Christian because you represent Jesus, right? But check this. The word Christian was already used on followers of a deity named Serapis before Jesus was even born. So how can Christian represent Jesus if they was already using it before he was even born? So no, I'm not a Christian. Go research where that word really come from. Remember, they was called Christian, not by God. And then you say we shouldn't be cursing. I don't curse. I don't use no profanity in none of my videos. Just because you hear me say damn and ass, that don't mean I'm using profanity. It's a damn right here. That ain't profanity. You don't hear me saying damn you. You don't hear me saying that. This is a damn. What you gonna say next? Ass. The word ass I be using. Ass is typically a donkey. You don't see me saying kiss my. You don't see me saying stuff like that. That's when it becomes a curse word. But I don't use it like that. So what are you talking about? Don't nobody say nothing when they call their own child a baby goat. Kids are considered baby goats. We call our children kids. Those are baby goats. But you see, this is why Christians get the backlash that y'all get. Because y'all always trying to send somebody to hell. Y'all always trying to judge someone. Y'all always pointing y'all fingers, but y'all never point the finger at y'allself. Y'all always judging people, telling them what they can do and what they cannot do. Like you're perfect. That's why Christians got a bad rep. That's why I would never, ever belong to no religion. Never. Thank you. Now you have a blessed day.
There's a theory that Nicki Minaj slipped up when she was talking to Erica Kirk on stage, and she accidentally said that assassin was hired by the vice president Pence. I'm gonna show you the clip.
We've seen the Lord in Jerusalem of the three Amazons. 1953 Bill Lodge. That in the roof you see the compass with all sorts of religion, divide and conquer.
I didn't know why she said that. Like,
Trust me. There's nothing new under the sun that I have not heard. So you're fine.
so she did it back that she accidentally gave the information that people don't know or speculated. It's obvious theory, that JD Vance might be the reason Charlie Kirk. Yo, the interviewer made it even worse though. She's like, oh yeah, I didn't hear anything other than that, insinuating like, oh, I've already heard all this. Yeah.
And he met the last pope of the grave, the Jesuit pope. Now they have a Jesuit president, right? Crypto-Judaism built the Vatican, and they say the first Jewish president is Donald J, right? So it's Khazarians. They made a lot of effort for that. You can look up how many Khazarians there is in the north of Europe. How many there are, because they got scattered in the rules between 0 to 800. Then they got scattered. Went all around. That's why many in the Norway, before the Vikings, they are the Vikings. They made the Vikings, okay, the Khazarians. So all of them say it about the Vikings. They don't know that it is the false use of the Khazarian. Because they went up in Scandinavia and they built these scavenger called Vikings with their North mythology, with these what they did in fucking when they were ruling in Babylon. The Khazars go with the Canaanites. The thing is with the Khazars, when it was in, what it is today, Ukraine, the whole thing with the island there. The thing is, they made a war, the Khazar against the Tatarian. But then the Russian Orthodox and the Judaism and the Turkish Islam and of course, the transformed French, Spanish, and Portuguese that it was brought up. They sold themselves. You can see that with the crowns.
There's so many demons in Call
And all of them they became the Khazarian afterwards. But all of these religions come to Ukraine and told these Khazars you have to choose one religion because they were doing paganism. They did unholy stuff, rituals and all that. Sacrifice, as it mentions in the Bible, to be the basketball, football, that one. And That's why they were forced to pick a religion. So they picked Judaism, but they never used that. They're always claiming that. So we're still doing these paganism. And you can see with Jews, like the German Saxons, the Druid became with like the Khazarian King Knut, the Norwegian, the Vikings king. King Knut was a Khazarian. But later on, all these paganism, esotericism will continue up in Scandinavia. So the Scandinavian Norway king, year 1400, told these esotericism should be combined with the Christianity. So they made this Druid witchcraft Wicca, rebuked them, made this called Yule, Y-U-L-E, Yule. What did they say? Good Yule. They say in Scandinavia, good Yule. Because it's a dualistic. There are those who practice religion, they say the good part. And those like the Khazarians do the bad part. And look the calendar. If you go in SATAN, is calendar ritual, they have rituals on the 24th December. The Ethiopian Christians celebrate the 7th of January, the Christ Mass. But in this SATAN calendar ritual, they do an even a ritual. The one on the 24th December is called High Grand Climax, the High Grand Climax, the highest of them. Involves a lot of sick things, even parts of another one. Look that up. They're sending parts of other ones to them. And on the 7th of December, they're celebrating the Sankt Winebald Day. It's the 7th day of January under the pagan Janus. They're celebrating that. It's the same day as the Ethiopians celebrate their Christmas. So you see this dualistic form, and you can find this with the King Harold, because of King Harold under the 1400, he made sure these different beliefs was combined in together and made up Jule, the Christmas. Even though they were of Miriam, the famous Saint Nicholas, was a famous merchant, he made a lot of contacts all around the Middle Sea, and the one who went around Africa, different parts of the world under his aegis, and Saint Nicholas of Myria, today Turkey, made so many contacts, so much money. He gave away all his money because he found out, as it says in Matthew, it says that you got to sell your things. So he got rid of his things when he died. He made sure his relatives were set for life, but he made sure other people got help. That's why every harbor church of St. Nikolai is by him. Celebrate, of course, the 5th of December and the 9th of May. And that one has no ritual day by the SATAAN on that calendar. So there you see the dualism. There's a weight. Cannot be every of these holidays, but these other days, the 7th of January and 24th there, they need to be combined. Because it is by King Harold how he mixed them together. So it's not like Crowley says about at least one day a year they celebrate the evil one, the Halloween, because the Halloween is the halo. They're claiming we in. No, we're not in that. Other one is in that halo in. So the other ones, these other days as well. You don't maybe know it yet, but you can look it up. The Christmas animal of this ram is goat celebration. Messiah doesn't want you to have any goat celebration. doesn't want you to have any decor. Messiah, Christ, doesn't want you to have any decorations of a little animal and doesn't want you to sacrifice. What did he do with the merchant in the temple? When he was flipping tables of the merchants, they sold animals, they sold slaves to do different things in the temple. He tossed them out. He doesn't want you to put any decorations. And even if you look at the stars they have, the 7-pointed stars, the Sephiroth, coming from the Seth. You can see the 5-pointed star, the Penta, Instagram. They put it on the Christmas tree, and even the Christmas tree is one in the Holy Bible. And even with the lights, and even if you look in the witchcraft that we rebuke, you can see they're using that in the Druid to place of celebration that they gather in and do ritualistic chanting. And what does this other ones to celebrate Christmas? They dance around the tree. They do the same thing as those who believe in the Satan and going to Eastern Island and doing some of these rituals. They're doing the same thing, both sides, but they don't know it. The other one knows, but the other one doesn't know. And you can see Santa. If you take the N in the word and put that N at the end, what do you get? That name, they believe it. And he comes in red and white, doing alchemy and magic. If you mix, why do you think so many have red and white? Due to blog is red and white. They have the cube, believing in Saturn. They had the pyramid, they want a triple scheme. They had the logo explained. Why do you think many have their videos collaboration, they cover always with red and white? Why do you think so many have the red and black? Because this is a form, if you're doing ritual and doing occultism. The thing is why you can see in series, movies, documentaries, it is the person can be in the movie, first in the beginning in white dress, white clothes, then he's in red clothes, then at the end is in, like a tuxedo or dress in black. Why do they always have that for certain movies with certain people? Why is that happening? Because the white identify as pure, untouched. Going into red, your blood, your transformation to the dark side. That's what it means. That's why they have these all the time. They can be, like say, yeah, but I've seen movies that started with black, then they were red and the white. Yeah, this is the dualism. That's what they do. It can mean it is the one who gets now gonna be kicked out of the dark and be ready for by gematria, by the numbers. The day is counted, and soon they will departure. That's why many times they do that, showing them in the dark clothes in the beginning of a movie series, whatever episode. Then it's red, then it's white. Because it is a form of transformation. If you look in alchemy, you mix it like that. You mix the fluid as a pure, a transparent. Okay, you make it transparent, like water. Many say the blue water. What blue? Give me a blue glass of water. When I always say the blue ocean, okay, they always say the blue, in the deep blue, okay, but where is that blue water? Ask them, go to any scientist, go to any professor, any lecturer, and say, okay, but then give me a blue glass of water. There's no blue glass of water, mate. So it is the transparent, that's why it is the white. Then it mix with the components like blood. That's why they take many people's blood. They take many ingredients, and then they transform So this transparent make it a dark color, can be brighter color, but it is now filthy version. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's right. As an example, red and white, right? And black. You see? You see the dot? Is it white? Is it red? Assassin's Creed Shadows. Master String, Part 2. Comment below. That's all.
I have an old colleague, FIB Tech. He works on exactly the kind of malware to hack their system.
Oh, wait, I need to fix that also. Hmm. Let's show it in, please.
To the leaders of Iran, you're fucking with the wrong nigga. I'm being dead ass. I'm that type of nigga who got shooters on speed dial ready to pull up and walk your whole regime down. You're all out here flexing with these cute little "we gonna assassinate you" threats on Twitter like some internet gangsters type of tough from a bunker. So please keep poking the bear and you're gonna fuck around and find out just like Maduro did.
Step forward. President Donald J. Trump has been brought to court today by Venezuelan President Maduro over a dispute on who actually owns Venezuela.
All right, guys, why are we here today? Thank you, Judy. It's actually quite simple. See, this stupid retard was talking a whole lot of shit on the internet about our beautiful country, and I thought about it, and I told JD Vance, hey, let's just go take his country. We can use their oil and bring all the big booty bad bitches here. It's a complete win-win. So that's exactly what we did. We own that shit now because Maduro asked for it.
You know what? I don't even need to hear anything from you, Maduro. I'm calling this case closed. Donald owns Venezuela, and that's final.
Ole, friends de Venezuela, here is your brand new president, Don Miguel, believe me. Today I come to give a very serious warning to mi amigo Gustavo Petro, president of Colombia. Cuidado, señor Petro. Be very careful, mi hermano. Donald Trump does not play games. I am very serious. Oh, wait, no. He is serious. Not me, because I am not Donald Trump, okay? I mean, he is, muy serio. Very dangerous when he wants something. Trust me. I know him very well. If you don't behave, he will take your beautiful country next. Poof. And then he will grab all the oil and all the thick Latinas too. Nobody steals better than him, folks. Nobody. Stay in your lane, Gustavo, or the great Donald Trump will take your country too. Viva Venezuela. Venezuela. Viva Don El Miguel.
There's a theory that Nicki Minaj slipped up when she was talking to Erica Kirk on stage, and she accidentally said that the assassin was hired by the vice president Vance. I'm gonna show you the clip. Okay. Nicki Minaj calls JD Vance an assassin.
And you have amazing role models like the assassin.
Well,
JD Vance, our vice president.
Look what
And when I say that,
she doesn't know why she said that. Like,
trust me, there's nothing new under the sun that I have not heard, so you're fine.
So she did it in a bag that she accidentally gave the information that people don't know or speculated. It's an obvious theory, that JD Vance might be the reason Charlie Kirk. Yo, the interviewer made it even worse though. It's like, oh yeah, I didn't hear anything other than that, insinuating like, oh, I've already heard all this. Yeah.
What the flipping heck?
What is it they say about the devil? That he comes as an angel of light.
How can I trigger the
Did you
alarm?
ever notice something about
How did we even do that?
McDonald's? McDonald's, that this guy just happens to really support? Like, really support? But before I keep talking about him, I want to show you something about the devil. See, the devil, the deceiver of the whole world, he was thrown down to earth, and his angels were thrown down here with him. Do you know how many angels came down with him? The Bible says a third. Third is 0.33. And I noticed he had two drinks here.
For the
I thought
three
that was
rich.
odd. The Bible says a
Spines.
third of the angels were cast down here. 0.33. You know, 0.33. And I wonder what those hand symbols mean. I'm sure it's wrong. But let's get back to McDonald's. Do you know what M is? If you turn M sideways, what's that look like? Oh, looks like a 3, right? You can see that's the third.
Take
letter
an
of the
8
alphabet. So
and split the 8, number 8, split number 8.
And when you say the
And then you
arches,
turn the side of the left of 8. And what does that mean? It means the eternity number 8. You cut that so it's no longer eternity or divine. You split the divine and turn them against each other. So if you turn that side at the beginning, what does it make? That number 3 and the other one of 3, that's 33. That's 33 spines. And not just like that. If you look in the German book of Hermetica, doing alchemy and magic, you can see that the McDonald's sign, the yellow sign in McDonald's, come from a magic spell. Coincidence?
It's a funny painting he has in the house that is white. Wouldn't you say? This looks like
Oh wait, we need to check out the agent. What agent is this, mate?
I don't know about you, but that kind of looks like the flames of hell to me.
What the flipping heck?
I always say they tell us the truth in plain sight. Do you really think that's accidental? How about this one? Let's say a real photo. So is that. And so is that. And this one. And what was it he said during that? Fight, fight, fight. You know what letter F is in the alphabet, right? It's the 6th. 6, 6, 6. And what were those two big ideas he had? The big, beautiful bill and build back better. I know those are B's, but it's intentional. It's because you can make it look like a 6. Do you know what floor he lived on in his penthouse? You guessed it, didn't you? Did you guess it? What number you dialed? Yeah, 88 minus 22. Did you ever see the painting that the man himself posted? What is that? Kind of looks like a horn to me. Kind of looks like horns to me. You know what else is funny about the Bible, too, is that it talks about them having a king over them, which was the angel of the bottomless pit, a king over them. Ever heard of the No Kings Rally or MAGA King? Yeah, and that angel of the bottomless pit, his name is Abaddon, or Abad Don. Oh, and that comes from Revelation 9:11. You know what 4 plus 5 is? And it's 9. Do you know what 4 plus 7 is? I bet you guessed it. 9:11. 9:11. Abaddon, otherwise known as the devil, or Lucifer. And do you know why Lucifer, the light bearer, was kicked out of heaven? Kicked out of heaven with his 1/3 of his angels, his 0.33 angels, because he and his angels wanted to be worshipped like the Most High.
Not just like that. It was also the prosecutor in the courtroom in heaven. It was the prosecutor.
Free will. Well, I would have them worship me willfully. I would come as an angel
Let me just double check this for hang on the computer.
of light. I would get them to worship me in my archangel wings. Sure, they always stood out from the crowd.
It's ready.
And made sure they thought of me
Into this later.
everywhere they
We
went.
have to.
But of course, all this for entertainment purposes. I don't actually think he's the literal devil, and I definitely don't think the literal devil built a 300-foot statue of himself and put it in the NYC. Just like I definitely don't think that the original Statue of Liberty face looks identical to Elvis. Just like I really don't think that Elohim Elvis was trying to tell us anything with those angel wings. Just like I really don't think there are actual fallen angels down here that can shapeshift and change their form slightly, and it's why we see people who look so similar from our past: Ulysses S. Grant, Bryan Cranston, Teddy Roosevelt, Robin Williams, Andrew Jackson, you know who. Clones, not replicas, fallen angels. They're here, deceiving all the earth, getting you to worship them. The political world, on the TV, D. Martin, Cosmo Kramer, shapeshifters. In the athletic world, Wilt Chamberlain, Kobe Bryant, Travis Kelce, literally the dude that started the Pony Express. And of course, they're getting you to worship them in the music industry as well. Like I said, all for entertainment purposes. They definitely don't tell us the truth in plain sight either.
King of rock and roll, Elvis. We love Elvis. I shouldn't say this. You'll say I'm very conceited because I'm not. But other than the blonde hair, when I was growing up, they said I looked like Elvis. You see that? You believe it? I always consider that a great compliment. We love Elvis, don't we? They said I looked like Elvis. You see that? You believe it? I always consider that a great compliment. We love Elvis, don't we?
The test, my friends. Some of you, you're losing the test. You need to be against all of them. Spiritual war going on. If you're not on the right side, well, I'm not the one that's going to judge you. Have a lovely day.
I don't know. The judge. You come stand by as a witness.
If you have a neck hump, do this. If your breast's too sagging, do this. If your shoulders are rolled inward, do this. If you have a double chin, do this. Every morning, if you can do 50 hip raises like this, your glutes are going to firm up. And if you do 50 hip openers every morning, your inner thighs are going to firm up. And if you can do 50 side twists
My belly's getting low, so
your V lines will look sharper. And if you can do 50 reverse
we keep it here. We do
every
all of
morning,
those
you can see the
highs,
spine to lower belly.
all these
Finally,
preps is done.
finish off with 100
I don't think the
seconds of
arcade.
alternating knee
The
raises
arcade,
every
maybe we
morning
should do
to tighten your
some.
core.
Let's just take a quick look on arcade. Because the batteries are getting really low, and I don't have that extra battery charger. Wait, flipping out. And then, and the external cord doesn't reach. Flipping out. Oh my days. Yeah, but take a quick look. Flipping out, right. How far have we gone in this one? Just in the beginning of flipping egg, we did that one recently then. Okay, then we do that a bit. For sure, man, need to fix the light in here. It's bonkers. So then, we have done all preps, all sets. We do the highs with mates later. And comment below your gamer tag if you want the cash. I will give you 85% to my mates. Do it another time. Or have you
Because you do this 100 times every morning, your thighs will start to shrink. Because you do this 100 times every morning, your bums will get perkier. Because you do this 100 times every morning, your lower back fats will vanish. And because you do this 100 times every morning, your V-lines will become more prominent. Every morning, if you can do 50 of these, you'll flatten your tummy and lift up your chest. And if you can do 60 seconds of these every morning, you'll tighten your waist and slim your thighs. And if you can do 20 of these in the morning, you'll reduce your love handles. And if you can complete 20 of these in the morning, you'll get rid of your lower tummy and your inner thighs fat. Finally, finish off with 50 of these in the morning for slimmer waist and thighs.
Mm-hmm. I'm showing you.
Because you do the happy baby stretch, your lower back will thank you. Because you do the lazy cat stretch, your upper back will thank you. Because you do the cobra stretch, your spine and posture will thank you. Because you do the pigeon stretch, your hips will thank you. Because you do the thigh stretch, your knees will thank you. And because you do the frog stretch, your lower back and hips will love you. If it is sagging here, do this exercise. If it is rounded here, do this movement.
Outfit.
If it is high here,
Black plate carrier.
if it is thick here, do this exercise. If you do 100 Y races every
Upgrading
day,
and grip
your
here, so it's the second and people grade.
and if you do 100
Ik heb zelf een band, de next one, hold on.
your back hump will be gone and your shoulders brought back. And if you do 100 upward presses every day, you'll tone up your arms and there'll be less sagging at the armpits. And finally, if you do 100 wide bursts every day, your back will become more defined. Because you practice holding this movement 30 seconds every day, your hips will open up and they'll move more freely. Because you hold this stretch 30 seconds every day, your back tension is gone and your lumbar spine will love you. And because you like holding this stretch 30 seconds every day, your lower back pain will vanish and your spine will realign.
No gym, no problem. For your arm, for your chest, do this. For your shoulders, do this. For your back, do this. For your glutes, do this. For your abs, do this. For your obliques, do this. For your quads, do this.
If you can do body twists and wall taps 100 times every day, you'll lose belly fat. And if you can cross your legs behind 100 times every day, your love handles will be gone. And if you can do cross-body knee lifts 100 times every day, your muffin tops will vanish. And if you can combine wall presses with cross-body knee lifts for 100 times every day, your ab muscles will start to show. If you step on a chair like this 100 times every day, your lower belly will disappear. If you step on a chair and do chest extensions like this 100 times every day, your back will look amazing. If you step on a chair and raise your arms overhead 100 times a day, your shoulder and neck lines will look great. If you step on a chair and clap your hands under your hips 100 times a day, your lower belly will be